Hi everyone, I am Shirley Mack. I have been a teacher for the past 26 years. Presently, I am a literacy coach and I work with K to 3 teachers in St. Lucia. The purpose of this video is to highlight the education system or culture of Eastern Caribbean schools, cultures that volunteers need to know in order that they can function effectively in Caribbean schools. So let me tell you a bit about our classroom. In the St. Lucian classroom, the teacher is responsible for his or her classroom. Every teacher is assigned a group of students. In some cases, the teacher may have 10 students, and in other cases, the teacher may have between 20 to 30 students. Many teachers are in self-contained classrooms. However, there are a few schools where the classrooms are in a hall. And what really separates the classrooms are blackboards. And in these instances, teachers really have to project their voice. The class teacher is responsible for preparing teaching materials for his or her class. So you will find that in St. Lucia that many teachers prepare their own teaching aids for the classes. Additionally, there are some schools where you will find a photocopier. So in that case, teachers are able to make copies of worksheets that they need for the students. However, there are some schools where you will not find a photocopier. And in these cases, I can tell you, teachers get very creative in producing instructional materials for the students. Let me tell you a bit about behavior management. The classroom teacher is responsible for managing behavior in the classroom. In St. Lucia, corporal punishment has been abolished, and what you find now, schools in St. Lucia are now considered child-friendly school. A child-friendly school is a school that promotes positive behavior intervention and support, which looks at the prevention of negative behavior and not punishment for unwanted behavior. So also in our classes, class teachers use behavior modification charts to manage their student behavior. In terms of teacher to student interaction, teachers and students share a good relationship. So you will find students would address their teachers by their surname. Also, they may address their teachers as Miss or Sir. Teachers hug their students, but this is something you usually find among between the female teacher and female students. It is not something that you'll find typically between the male teacher and the male student, or even the male teacher and the female student. But definitely, your female teacher would hug the female students. And in as much as you have that kind of relationship, the level of respect is always maintained. So students are not allowed to play in the teacher's hair, neither are they allowed to go into the teacher's bags. Okay, so respect is always maintained. You will also find in our schools that teachers take care of their students. So you will find in some instances that the class teacher would provide lunch for a student or even school materials. It is not something that happens at all schools, but it is something that happens at, it happens at times. You'll also find teachers, the teacher would be a doctor, the teacher would be a nurse, the teacher would be a lawyer to the student. Whatever the student needs, teachers would rise to the occasion. In terms of teacher to teacher interaction, teachers and staff address each other respectfully. They address each other by their surnames. You will also find at some schools that during the lunch periods, that teachers would sit together to have lunch. There are also instances where outside of school, teachers would socialize with one another. It is not something that happens at all schools, but there are schools where you have that kind of interaction outside of school. And finally, I will look at parental involvement. Parents are part of our school culture. So you will find in a typical St. Lucian classroom that every class teacher would have a WhatsApp group with the numbers of all the students. And this WhatsApp group, or as we know, the chat, is used for the teacher to pass on information to the parents, maybe homework that the students have. And parents, likewise, they use that chat to send information to the teacher or to find out things that they need to know. And you will also find that at some of our schools, we have what we call the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association, where you have a group of parents who come together to really assist the school, whether in socializing, whether in raising funds, or any other thing that the school needs. So, for example, during sports time, parents would come and assist the school. So you will find that parents are part of the school. And you'll also find parents would come into the schools and find out information from the principal or from the teachers. So I hope that the information that I have given you, it gives an insight into what happens in a typical St. Lucian classroom, or by extension, the other islands, maybe Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, because usually our classrooms are more or less the same. Thank you very much.